There is a new beginning. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Friday night hangout with Joy Onyesoh. I'm super excited to see you all here. Welcome, success. If you're just tuning in, I want to see your thank God it's Friday. Welcome, Jane. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, Jideka. All right. Welcome, Sumaya. All right. Yay. Nasiba, welcome. All right. It's Friday night hangout. Woo. Good evening, Jane. Good evening, Nasiba. Good evening, Sumaya. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Friday night hangouts. Woo. All right. Welcome, Oziama. Welcome, Shola. Welcome, Ifacho. All right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Woo! I'm so excited to reel it. Okay. I want to see your thank God it's Friday. I want to see your thank God it's Friday. Welcome. It's KJ. It's KJ. Welcome. All right. I hope you're dancing. Woo! It's going to shell it today. I'm super excited. I'm super excited. It's another amazing episode. Yeah. Keep your thank God it's Friday night coming in. Keep dancing your dancing shoes, and we're going to be started in a minute. All right. Welcome, Vivian. Good evening. Woo. All right. Okay. We're ready to get started. I want to do today's dance without shoes. So you are allowed to do just whatsoever you want to do. Welcome, Chidema. This is our space, our safe space. I'm super excited to welcome you all again to the fourth edition of Friday Night Hangout Season 2. Who is happy? I want to see your thank God this Friday. Thank God this Friday. Thank God this Friday. Amazing. Yes, this is our safe space, Friday night hangout, and I still remain Joy Onyesoh. I'm super excited to host you every Friday night by 7 p.m. And thank you for always turning up every Friday. Welcome, Yemisi. I'm super excited to have you all with me. And remember, we're still discussing starting strong. Yes, we've talked about what you have in your hands, what do you speak, what do you see, and tonight we're going to be discussing staying strong or staying resilient in tough times. So today we're going to discuss staying resilient in tough times. That's also a way of starting strong. And we're going to have today a very amazing guest, Sabeeta. She's going to be here with us, Dr. Sabeeta. I'm super excited to have her. And I'm going to be adding her in very soon. So I just want to welcome you all once again. We all do know that Friday night hangout is our space where we learn, we relearn, we unlearn, and we learn to also celebrate ourselves and everyone around us who is a support system who has been contributing to pushing us forward in our life's journey. Friday, like I said, the drink, no, they touch your mouth. Oh my goodness. Welcome, Stella. So in a minute, I'm going to be adding Dr. Sabeeta, and I'm so excited because tonight she's going to pour real into us. And I do hope that you're ready, you're prepared, because I'm going to hand over the platform to her. And like we'll always do, we'll welcome. If you have questions, please put it up in the chat box. Stella says, it's another Friday, thank God. Yes, I'm super excited. And before we go on to our conclusion, I just want to I want us to start this night. Yeah, okay, the network. I want us to put up a support to Nasiba Yakubu. He's right here. He lost his daughter. He told me he lost his daughter. Um, Nasiba, sympathies. I'm super amazed and excited to see that you're also right here tonight. Please do accept our condolence. And from all of us here, the Friday Night Hangout tribe, we're saying, do please accept our sympathies. Remain strong, and I do know that the good Lord. Okay, sorry about the network. And so please, hello Ifeanyi, welcome, welcome. The network is super bad here, but we'll try and make it work as much as possible. Please, let's put out our support, our sympathies for Nasiba Yakubu. He's right here. That's why we're a tribe. We celebrate together. And when anything touches any of us, it touches all of us. So please, let's support him and give him all the strength and shoulders to lean on that he needs in this trying time. May her soul rest in perfect peace. Please do take heart, Nasiba Yakubu. Our prayers are with you and family, and we do know that God will strengthen you to go through this trying period. You know, having lost a loved one, I do know how difficult it is to go through this phase. So our prayers are with you from the Friday Night Hangout. And thank you so much for also making time to join with us tonight. And we really appreciate and do not take it for granted. I honor you, I celebrate you at this time, and I know that God will take you through. Amen. So, are we all ready? Are we all ready? Welcome, Esther. Are we all ready? Keep the support coming in for Nasiba Yakubu. Please keep it coming in. He's here and he's reading this. So, please keep it coming in. So, at this time, I'm asking my sister, I'm asking my sister, Dr. Sabeeta.
Hi, everybody. Good night.
Hey!
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
So, we were talking about staying resilient and staying
Yes,
strong. So, I
yes,
think my internet connection was testing my resilience. So, we won one battle already. Good
yeah.
night, everyone, and good afternoon. In my part of the world, I am based in Houston. And Professor Joy, we've known each other for some time, and I want to commend you and your team for the amazing work you all are doing and the
Thank,
lives you're touching. It's so meaningful. So, my heartfelt thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. You've helped so many kids, your Christmas initiative, your team, your outreach. I'm really, really happy to know you, my friend.
thank you so much, Dr. Sabeeta. It's such a pleasure to know you, to have you as a sister and a friend. And it's an honor to have you grace our platform tonight. So please, everyone, join me in welcoming Dr. Sabeeta. Let's give her the Friday night welcome. Let's welcome her. Let's welcome her. All right.
I was
Welcome.
gonna rock in here doing Jerusalem, but I couldn't get my dancing shoes. Did I lose you guys? So I think technology is testing us. If you can hear me, I'm not sure if you can still hear me. Um, but I kind of lost you.
Today we're talking about staying resilient.
And I'm back.
We're talking about staying resilient during tough times, and the network has decided to be tough tonight. But I'm hopeful that we're going to surmount these challenges. So I'm handing over to Dr. Sabeeta. She's going to introduce herself and she's going to take us through the topic starting strong, staying resilient during tough times. I'm going to be at the background. I'm going to be listening in. If you have questions, don't forget, remember how we do it. You put it in the chat box and we would address your questions. So, Dr. Sabeeta, the floor is yours. Introduce yourself and then you take us through um, your topic for today. Welcome once again. So much love, sis. I hand over the floor to you.
Thank you very much. I just want to say an internet prayer that it's sturdy and it holds out there for us for the next hour. I wanna thank everyone for taking time off their day and their afternoon. You know, Fridays are important, so I want to thank you all for spending your Friday night with us. That's very very important. So as we work through some of the challenges, you know, in 2020, we work through it. The fact that we're all here, you know, that's a positive sign. That means we survived 2020. We survived the worst. We are stronger than we think. We're talking about resilience, and something that comes to mind immediately is your ability to endure. Resilience can be tested in so many ways. As a woman, you know, and I'm going to give you a little bit about my background. I was born in a tiny Caribbean island with 1 million people, but I've lived in some of the largest continents of the world. That for me has just been a fantastic part of my journey. I don't consider myself a citizen of any one country, but a citizen of the world. I have had some, I would say, my most meaningful and rewarding experiences are those where I spent getting into communities, getting to know people, working with girls and women and refugee children. Those were some of the meaningful aspects of the work I've done. Um, we are much bigger than our professional careers. We are we are judged by who we are in terms of our titles because society has placed that on us. But when we talk about strength and resilience, that has to come deeper. You have to dig deeper and you really have to say, who am I? What am I about? What is the legacy I want to leave? And your strength and your resilience is tied into your legacy message. So for me, resilience is the ability to power on, to stay strong, to keep your eyes focused on the goal, to hang in there when things are falling apart, the ability to become creative and bring it back together. That is what resilience is. So I'm going to ask some of you, do you have any questions? Throw out questions at me. Professor Joy, just let me know if the reception is going well. You know, we're just fighting a bit of internet challenges, but we're going to get through this.
Yeah, we're hearing you loud and clear, and the internet is perfect.
Thank you so much. So now let's start looking at 2020. I believe in the power of reflection. Your strength is found when you look back at the things you've won, your journeys. Okay. So I always say to find your strength, look at your past, look at those things you've gone through, and create a storyboard. This is who I was, these are the challenges I've survived, and this is who I am today. When you can chart out your story and your path, you can see your it's almost like a chart of resilience where you can find your strength. You can see the demons you've conquered and the challenges you've overcome. That for me is a true test of resilience, looking at where you were, where you started, where you are today, and looking forward now. So we've gone past 2020. Yes, it was a tough year for everyone. Yes, we lost lives. Yes, it took a toll on society. But apart from the losses, you know, when you find your strength and your resilience, be thankful for the things that kept us sane. I am thankful for the internet that's giving me problems today. I am thankful for its ability to keep me connected with wonderful people all around the world. In 2020, I have done so many pro bono projects. It's unquantifiable. I've spent I would say the last 6 months of 2020, working with teams in India, rebuilding educational programs, all pro bono projects, helping girls in rural communities, taking education and devices to homes where children would have been disconnected, where they would not have had access to education. So, all these missions we do are helping others stay strong. So, sometimes your resilience is found in your ability to push on, but also to carry someone along. You never know how strong you are until you can carry someone with you. Okay? So, Professor Joy, let's bring you in. What do you want to ask me? Ask away.
All right, I'm back here. I had to exit and stay in the background so that you could have the platform to really speak. Yeah, I was want to ask you when you were making, when you were defining what's resilience, with amongst what have you put out, you said, and I quote, resilience is the ability to hang in there when things are falling apart, the ability to keep your focus when things are falling apart. This really is very interesting for me because most often when things start falling apart, we get confused. And when we get confused, we are not very articulate in taking the steps or the actions that we need to take, and it creates more chaos. So, what would you recommend? What steps would you recommend, in helping one to bounce back, especially when things are falling apart? Because it's only human to get scared, to get confused, to lose focus, to be distracted. But what steps do we need to take? For instance, someone that is going through marital problems, someone that has just lost a job, someone that has just like lost a child, how do we remain resilient in the face of all these emotional traumas?
Yeah, good question. And one of the things I'd want to suggest and tell you guys is you are never alone. Whatever you're going through, you're not the first person doing it. Someone has walked that path before you. This journey of yours is not uncharted. Reach out to someone. The power of collaboration is so important. We are not amoebas. We don't live in an island or by ourselves. We live in a world where networking helps us through everything. We've seen last year when, the pandemic tried to take the world and separate us and keep us segregated. But guess what? Technology was our savior. It connected us in what would have been a disconnected world. For my sister who's going through a divorce, I reach out to you and I say, you are not alone. You're not the first woman to have walk this path. This is not a failure. A marriage that did not work out means you tried something, you didn't find what you were looking for, but there are other days ahead. Step into your greener pastures. Do not let it beat you up. But you need a support system. So, in order to stay resilient, having a support system is really important. Do not beat yourself up. I tell people this constantly. Do not beat yourself up. The minute you beat yourself up and take all the pressure and say, and then you look inward and say, where was I to be blamed in all of this? You know, you are actually putting internal pressure on yourself. So, one step away from the situation. I always say, look at the situation from a stranger's eyes because that removes any emotional biasness you may have. Try to look at it from a helicopter view. Try to be rational in your thinking. I know if it's an emotional issue you're dealing with, it's going to be hard to remove the emotions, but take a step back, breathe. Breathing works for me. Take a step back, breathe, take time. You do not have to make a decision immediately. Okay. Understand that if it's a life changing decision, you are allowed to take time. You are allowed to internalize this. You are allowed to process it. You are allowed to ensure that you remove the chaos that Dr. Joy talked about. Break past the chaos, break past the clutter. Find something that makes sense. And through there, you will start to see your path being carved. So, again, relax, step away from the situation, remove some of the emotions. Do not rush.
Mm.
Take time. You are not alone. Find support. Support exists. Reach out to someone. So, those would be some of my tips, Dr. Joy.
So while we're waiting for her to come back, very valuable points she's raised there. Take a step back, know that you're not alone. You're not the first person to go through this. And just give yourself
Am
time
I
to
back?
heal, time to reflect, time to take action. Time heals. Time heals. Don't feel like you're all alone. It's important that you reach out to people who the network is really crazy today. It's really crazy today. Because we're talking about staying resilient, the network is acting up, but I invite you to just stay with us. We're going to walk through this together. Welcome, Dr. Sabeeta.
Am
Welcome.
I back?
The network, yes, you're back. I also went off. The network is crazy today.
So, so I can tell you that I am happy that we're having these challenges because you can see true resilience. You can see that
Yeah.
we're not going to give up. We're going to
Nah.
persevere. We're going to stay strong. We're
Yeah.
going to get past this.
Yeah.
So, yes, we are having technical difficulties, and I think it sometimes happen with the connection, and I've noticed this every time I try to call like certain parts of the world. There are some technical difficulties. But we get through this. We will. All of us will. So what else? What else can we talk about? Tell me. What else do you want to know?
Yeah, that's another question here. And she says, what would you recommend if you find yourself if someone finds herself slipping into depression? That's one bit of it. The second bit is, how would she recognize that she's actually losing it?
Yeah. So I can tell you right now, every one of us have to do a mental check balance. We need to test our mental clarity. We need to go back to our sense of purpose. Being in lockdown has taken a toll on everyone. And I like to think that, I look at my two younger sons as well, and they're studying at home. They've lost their social life literally, had to make a lot of sacrifices compared to us as teenagers, what we enjoyed. So yes, I know we are living in a world right now, at times right now, where everyone is going to have mental concerns about their mental health. What do we need to do? We need to understand again, when you're going into a depression and that cycle or that spiral is happening, you got to kick yourself out of it. How do you recognize it? I would say, and I have been depressed before. I lost my father very suddenly, and I went into a depression phase. And at that time, I locked the world out. Despite everything I know about how to deal with depression, I wanted to internalize my pain and my loss. So for me, that is how I dealt with it. Was it the correct way? Maybe not, because bouncing back was harder. When you realize that you're not finding joy in the things that used to bring you joy, that's one sign of depression. If you are staying away from the things you once enjoyed, not wanting to meet friends, not wanting to engage with people, just the things that you used to do, if you're no longer finding a passion for it, you need to do a self check. Say, hang on, what's going on? So our mind is our strongest weapon, and our ability to control our thoughts lies there. When you do that self check, pretty much you're going to realize, hang on, something is going on.
What are the causes? So again, there are underlying causes to everything. The laws of cause and effect kicks in. What are the causes of those things that are happening to me? Was it a change of environment? Did I lose my job? Did I lose a family member? And then you have to work for the emotional healing. All right. Remember, depression kicks in based on your mental health. So it's all about going within yourself, finding the answers there. If you can't do it alone, there's a lot of professionals out there that can help you. A lot of companies offer employment assistance programs where they offer free counseling to help people going through depression. It is not something that is unique. It's not something to be embarrassed about. It comes side by side with the pandemic. I have known more depressed people now than I've ever met in my life. But together we can get through it. There are tools available. Use counseling services, do self checks, know when it's happening, recognize when it's happening. And you can do that simply by those things I told you. When you're no longer finding joy or that desire to do the things that you once looked forward to, that's a self check point. And then you start the internalizing bit. Admitting it is important. One of the first ways to healing is admitting you've got a problem. Living in denial does not help it. So that's another thing that we need to be mindful of when we deal with depression. I hope I've answered that question, Dr. Joy. Can you hear me? Hi.
Hello.
We are being tested, my sister, I tell you.
I'm telling you.
How
I'm
much
telling
of what I said did you hear?
I was kicked out as well at some point when you were talking about seeking for professional help, and at that point I left. I was kicked
Yeah.
out.
So it's all about getting professional help. I'm not sure how much the audience has heard, if we just went down totally or not, but companies do offer professional assistance, so we can use those tools. Uh, Admitting it, admitting you've got a problem and reaching out to find a way out of the problem. Do not keep holding on to it because it's going to spiral. You want to kick yourself out of that spiral. So internalizing and using resources to help you get through it. And it's
Beautiful.
it's it's not it's not uncommon. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. It's not uncommon.
Thank you so much. So you're not alone. It's not uncommon if you're going through the preliminaries of depression, but you need to seek professional help. Do not live in denial. And seeking that support really will get you onto the right track. Right now, a lot of uncertainties are here with us, tough times, and some of us cannot really handle it mentally. So that is not to say there's anything wrong with you, but it simply is a pointer that you need to build your resilience, your mental resilience, and you can seek professional help to help you do just that. Stella
Yeah.
says she's been through it and she can tell that talking to the right people does really help. So please don't live in denial, speak to the right person, and know that you are not alone. There's another question for you, Dr. Sabeeta. The question says, how can I get through the stigma of divorce? So, how do one get through the stigma of
So
divorce?
let's hang on to that word stigma.
Mm,
You know, stereotypes are something I try to stay away from. Unfortunately, we live in a society where everything has a meaning or stereotype. Divorce is not a failure,
mm,
okay? It's so when we talk about the stigma of divorce, when I think about a stigma, I think about of a negative connotation attached to something. I would say let's not talk about divorce as a stigma. Let's talk about what did your marriage mean to you? First of all, before you got to the point of being divorced, you had to be enjoying a fruitful relationship for be it 1 month, 1 day, 1 year. Um, things don't always work out. And I'm gonna take a divorce, this example of a divorce, and let's cross over to a company. I live in the US. One of my favorite stores is Macy's. Macy's has undergone so much resizing, right sizing, upsizing, downsizing that they have actually condensed so much of their operations. So they are divorcing themselves from their physical bricks and mortar structure and pushing a lot online. Again, has Macy's failed? A lot of people will see it as a failure, but Macy's has transformed their original model of business from in person stores to virtual stores. And the reason I'm using this, let me create a link to your divorce. Okay. Despite having not had a good run at marriage, and look, we all we make this commitment to God till death do us part, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health. And ideally, that's what we'd like. But we are not always in control of our outcomes. We have to remember that life gets in the way. People change, people grow apart. It doesn't mean that the love you had is no longer there. Doesn't mean that the meaningful experience you enjoyed has disappeared. Hang
mm,
on to the good things
mm,
and just find a way to work past this. Think about a Macy's model. The bricks and mortar structure that they had for many years is no longer there, but they're moving towards another solution. When you're divorced, it's not the end of the road. It doesn't mean and if you're a woman, and I assume a lot of our audience is women, it doesn't mean you're least attractive. No
mm,
way. It means you're full of experience. You know
mm,
life, you know successes, and you know things that didn't work. And I want you to take those things that didn't work and do a SWOT analysis. And again, I love to bring in business terms. What are your strengths? What are the things that define you that, that you're good at? So if I were to talk about Dr. Joy, I would say one of her strengths is her ability to be philanthropic and her sense of love for community. That's her strength. All right. But it doesn't mean that Dr. Joy doesn't have weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. All right. Identify what are your strengths coming out of the divorce and as a person, because it also does a lot for your confidence. A divorce erodes your confidence because you start to question yourself. And this ties back to how success is measured by society. So,
yeah,
you know, what are your strengths? What are the things that you're not so good at, but you want to work on? And see these as opportunities for personal growth. All right. Use the time down after a divorce to find yourself, to, just heal. One of the things I strongly recommend is never rushing into another relationship. That is not
mm,
the solution. Heal. If you've got kids, now is your time to be there for them. But coming out of that, remember, it's not just you and your ex-husband or wife that's involved in this marriage. If you have kids, they are a big part of it. So you want to ensure that you are not, whatever the outcome is, you are not ensuring that the way your children perceive marriage will be a failure. You want to ensure that these kids were brought into this world as acts of love. And even though the marriage did not work, you and your ex partner will continue to work together in a professional manner to ensure that your children's lives are not disrupted. And that should be your personal commitment moving forward. That would be one of the winning things coming out of any divorce. A divorce is not a failure. You know, I'm from the Caribbean, like I said, and I've done a lot of work in India. And there are a lot of arranged marriages. And for a lot of women in India, they may be unhappy, but they have to stick through an unhappy marriage. They have to stick through an abusive marriage because society shuns them if they're divorced. Ladies, we live in the year 2021. It's all about diversity, women empowerment. Let us stand for our equality. Let us not see ourselves as failures, ladies. Let us believe that we are powerhouses. In the US, there are so many women as CEOs now. I am so proud of where we have grown from the days of the suffrage movement to today. So let us not cast stones on ourselves. Society has done that too many times in the past. Let us push past that. So, my friend, you know, divorce, let's not think about it as a stigma. Let's look at it as an experience, a life experience. Life is a journey, and that was just one unfortunate phase you went through, but you will get past that. Dr. Joy, I hope I've answered the question.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I just love this bit about transformation. So if you see whatever challenge you're going through as a transformative point, so the mindset with which you view the situation, the tough time really matters. And then the meaning you give to the phase where you are in currently also makes a difference. And like Dr. Sabeeta said, if you can see and understand that as a transformative point, as a phase into a new season, then you wouldn't begin to think about what people say. You see, the value you place on yourself, the love you show to yourself will make other people value you and take you as such. Because confidence can be eroded when you go through down moments, when you go through valley times. And it's very important that you ensure you keep yourself on the mountaintop. And perchance you cannot do this alone. Please, just like we talked about depression, reach out. Reach out. There are always professionals, there are always support systems. So please do reach out. Do not die in silence. I do know that if you don't speak to the right person, it can compound your problem. But let this be the time for you where you look around you and ask yourself, who do I have in my system? Who do I have as part of my support system? And begin to critically analyze and find the strength of those you have in your inner circle, your inner caucus, that you can always say, you know, sis, I need you to hold my hand this time. You know, sis, I need your shoulder. I always say this: a power woman is a woman who knows when to seek for help and ask for help. A power woman is not one who goes through life soaring all the time. A power woman has down moments, recognizes her vulnerable moments, and is willing to open up and share those vulnerable moments, knowing that at your time of need, that doesn't really define who you are. It's just one of those passing moments in your life. And you know what? This phase will also pass and take you to a point where you rejoice again. Amazing. Um, Stella
So,
says,
Professor Joy, I just wanted to say there's power in one of those words you use, that word sister.
yeah.
There's so much power in it. You know, we have to be there for each other. We may not be related by blood, but we have to be there for each other. We have to help each other through. We don't need to pull each other down, but we need to lift each other up.
Amazing. I like that. And so before we go further on, and I'll turn over to Dr. Sabeeta, I just want us to do what we usually do, and that is to take our freebies. So the first 10 persons to put out their number and the word um, power. So your number and power, your number and power, your number and power. Let's see. Then we'll take that question here. But before we go to that question, the number and power, your number and power. Let's see the first person. Good. I have Vivian. Congratulations, Vivian. Congratulations, success. Who else? Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Your number and power. Shola, congratulations. I have 3 winners already. Where are my winners? Sumaya, congratulations. Njideka, congratulations. Okay, keep it coming. Njideka, it's KJ. Ruby, congratulations. Adora, congratulations. Esther, congratulations. I don't know if I have up to 10, but the remaining ones, my team will pick it up. So, congratulations. Perchance I did not call you. If it's not up to 10 numbers, a member of my team will pick up your number and will be in touch. Amazing. There's another question here, Dr. Sabeeta. And the question said, well, is a statement, not really a question. She says, I was so sure I had a good resilience until a few nights ago when I overheard my teenagers talking about what they feel about my separation from their dad. So she had it all going together. She's been confident. She's been all there, moving out, doing something for herself, feeling empowered until she overheard a conversation from her teenagers expressing how they feel about her separation from their dad. And that's made her go low. So, what advice would you have
I would recommend to have an, and they're teenagers and they're allowed to question things because they're smart enough. I would have an open conversation with them. I would sit them down. I would say, girls, it is a tough time for all of us. And I understand that you guys have questions. Let's talk about it and be upfront. Transparency is so important when you're going through a divorce where kids are included. They need to know. They need to know at every point. Okay, they need to understand that they're not being left out in this journey. They're not, falling by the wayside. That they're not to be blamed in any way. I would have an open conversation with the kids. I would try to address all their questions. If I don't know the answer, I would say, girls, I don't know right now, but together we'll figure it out. And if you have to get your ex involved, because again, you're talking about your children here, and your ex is just as invested in their outcomes as you are. If it means you both coming together and addressing these concerns, that would be the most mature thing to do. But have a conversation. Do not let it slide. Do not ignore the concerns. Do not ignore the things you've heard. Talk to your children about it and address it. Be open, be as honest as possible. Okay? And let them know that if anything changes along the way, they would be the first to know. That's the first thing. The second thing is do not let it, hearing the kids talk about it is quite common. Um, for example, think about this. You're in the corporate world, an announcement was made about uh, a new direction of the organization. All right. Your CEO addresses it. But in the break room, people will always have questions. They may have always have sidebars. They may always have conversations. Again, maybe because there was some misclarity. Maybe things need to be, um, communication need to be better aligned. So it's not that it was done with any negative. Don't see it as a negative thing. See it as a channel to open up communication with your children and talk about it and get them in the loop. It means that somehow the loop didn't connect and they need to be involved. And that would be one of the only things I would recommend at this point.
Thank you so much. So, transparent conversations, and do know that they are also allowed to have their opinion about things. Yours is to explain, to guide them through, but of course, they also have to walk through that part of the journey and find themselves. And yours is just to be there to guide them. Um, don't let it get you down. I know how it feels as a mother when you hear these conversations. You start feeling maybe you've done something wrong, you failed, but trust me, it's all part of the journey. And they would come to the point where they'll also begin to see. Remember, we all have different eyes and we perceive things and see things differently. Yours is to try to make them to see things from your perspective while also forming their opinion about how the whole journey is. And accountability, transparency is just key. I want to encourage you at this point to say, know that you're not alone. We're all here with you. We're holding your hands. We're praying for you. And I do know that you're strong, you're powerful, you're resilient, and you're going to walk through this. We're all with you.
And
And
sorry, I just wanted to add, Professor Joy, and don't think that would be the last conversation you'll overhear. You'll hear a lot more. There may be family conversations, there'll be community conversations, but don't beat yourself up over it. Just understand that's how you move past this phase you're in, and you answer what you can, and if you don't know, you just be honest. Say, look, I'm sorry, I don't know. I can't deal with this right now. I don't have the solution. I'm taking things one day at a time. And I need you all to understand that I am trying my best. I'm
I
trying to
just love
provide.
that. Don't feel this will be the last conversation. They are entitled to having conversations. So just build your resilience up. It's a process. Sometimes it goes so high, sometimes it dips, but being mindful of where you are is also very key.
Yes.
Ruby says, what a beautiful guest we have. Oh, yes. She's beautiful. She's amazing. She's smart. And Iroma says, dialogue and transparency. Welcome, Aguchidema. Nice to have you here. And while we are waiting for Dr. Sabeeta, today we're talking about staying strong and our resilience.
Dr. Joy, can you hear me? So again, we went off. Our resilience is being tested. That much I can see. Mm,
My network is amazing today.
I'm
My,
back.
I'm back. My network is amazing today. But that's all part of
So,
this.
so to our guests, I want you all to understand how we are being tested today. Normally, I do a lot of shows. Today's interruptions are very much in sync of our theme. And, you know, Dr. Joy, I don't think we planned it, but it's divine intervention because it shows we are staying resilient. We are going
Exactly.
to get to that. We are going to get to that finish road. We promised you guys 1 hour, and we're going to give you that 1 hour.
Yes, yes, yes. I love this. I love this. So if you have questions for Dr. Sabeeta, please keep it coming. Otherwise, the other question I want to ask you is, remember we're talking about tough times. And so for someone that is going through the loss of a loved one now, I know that
Mm,
recently you also lost some loved ones,
yes.
and it's an easy process. I also lost a loved one quite recently as well. So what helped you pull through to the point where you are now?
So I think for me, my biggest challenge was the fact that I was not able to go back home and say goodbye because the country is in lockdown and I was not allowed to travel back. I live in the US and I'm free to move, but when my cousin died, I couldn't go back. Um, so for me, it's that ability to not say goodbye. It was a fairly young cousin. It was very, very sudden. Actually, I lost three cousins this year. You wouldn't believe it. It's been a hard year. Um, I lost three cousins and I lost an uncle, all within a 4 month period, all very sudden. Me not being able to go back home and say goodbye was probably the toughest part. How I got through this, Dr. Joy, is I understand that, you know, we all had memories. And one of the things I have not taken for granted is the gift of life. I think it's a gift we've all been blessed with. I think life is certainly meaningful when we can bring joy to others and create memorable experiences. So life is a
Mm,
journey, like I said, and the one thing we are certain about in this whole process is that we're not here for infinite years. You know, there is an expiry date, unfortunately, to all of us, and we don't know what that date is. um, some of us can plan ahead. Some it hits us like a truck, but it's inevitable. Death is an inevitable part of life, and once you come to terms with the fact that at some point we will all expire, you go back now to say, okay, hang on, let me go back to the good times. And that's one of the things that helped me get through it. I hung on to all the good memories. I went back through pictures. You know, I was back home 2 years ago in the Caribbean and we had fantastic um, events, family events, and I went back through those pictures and I was looking at my cousins and they were smiling and how happy they were. And for a moment they felt alive, and then I just had a quick conversation in that moment and said, you know what, wherever you are, wherever you're headed, I just want you to have peace and go to rest now. So for me, it was about, doing it virtually. It was about talking to spirit a lot, connecting with them through the power of spirit a lot, and hanging on to memories. That got me through dealing with the deaths and not being able to say goodbye.
our network is amazing today, right?
It is, it is, it is, it is. Yep, it is. But I'm not sure how much you heard.
You talked about going through the fond memories, the pictures, the time spent with them.
Yes. So, just trying to say goodbye as much as you can, because I think when you lose someone, it's important to say goodbye. It's important to bring closure, and you have to disconnect. You have to hang on to the memories, and you have to let the spirit go. Uh, Death is inevitable. We all have an expiry date, so we need to remember that as well.
Thank you. This is really so helpful. I know during the pandemic and recently this year, a lot of us have lost loved ones, and we're still trying to move past that phase. I tell you, it's not an easy process, but it's a process. Hey, it's a process. You can't just move quickly from pain to joy immediately. It takes a process. So I would always I also say, in addition to what Dr. Sabita said, is give yourself time. Give yourself time to heal. Give yourself, don't be too hard on yourself, and don't go into the guilty trip. One of the dangers I see, we go down that guilty journey. Oh, I should have, I did not call, I did. Please don't go down that lane. That will steal your joy away and make the pain even deeper. Just trust the process. You did all you could do. The decision you made at that point was the best you could at that point. And it's time for you to move on, while holding there the memories you shared and all of those. It's not an easy process. It's not an easy one. There'll be times you need to break down. Give yourself that permission. We all mourn in different ways. So understand you and how you go through pain process, and then try to move past. And then perchance you find that you cannot do this by yourself. Please remember, we're also talking about mental health. Please do not be ashamed to reach out for help. Do not be ashamed to reach out to say, I feel myself drowning and I need your hands to pull me up. Please, you're not alone. You're never alone. No one is ever alone. You just look around and look deep. You will find that someone. It might not be family, it might not be friends. You will find that person that is out there to listen to you and to offer that support. So please give yourself time and give yourself the permission to get that help that you desire.
Yes, I think you're right, Dr. Joy.
Go.
Give yourself the permission to heal. But one of the things the pandemic has brought out in a lot of us is our human side. I have seen more humanity and love now than I've ever seen in the last 15 years. I've seen people really reach out and be there for others and understand that you alone haven't lost anyone. I mean, you've seen the numbers. I'm not sure if you're tracking the statistics in the US with the number of deaths. I live in Texas. Our population is about 30 million, and we have had over, I would say, close to 125,000 deaths in my state alone.
Hmm.
So the numbers are alarming. The cases are ridiculous. Just 2 weeks ago, I know someone who actually got the virus. Was I scared? No. And it's funny. Now that I've gotten so much information about the virus, it doesn't intimidate me anymore. It doesn't make me scared. I think I've equipped myself with enough information. I practice safety, and I let good sense prevail at all times when I'm in the community, and I practice communal awareness. And I believe, if we were to do this, we have to recognize this virus is not going to leave us. It's going to be here for a while, and we have to live with it, but we have to live smartly with it.
True. True. Thank you for that. And we're going to wrap up shortly, but before we do, I want to announce the winners for last week. And the winners are the same winners we had 2 weeks ago. Amazing, isn't it? Nasibu Yakubu, congratulations. You've won yourself a cash prize of 2,500 naira for having the most number of likes on your shared post of this show last week. And also, Sumaya Musa, congratulations. You've also won yourself a cash prize of 2,500 naira for also having a whole lot of likes on your shared video post. My dear, we have the same winners again. Do we want them to take it again next week? I don't know. So let's keep the sharing going on and get the likes out there. The conversation we had today is really a very interesting conversation. It's an eye opener. It's really one that so many people would really love to hear. It will be a blessing to a friend, a family member. So please do put this out there and share it with someone who you think needs to hear this. during this pandemic, we are all going through one tough time or the other. And just listening into this conversation and reading the encouraging chats in the box really helps all of us to push through. No one is an island, you know. We all need help sometimes. And conversations like this, a space like this, is some of the places where you can get that help that you so need. I would always say this is our safe space, this is our home. We're here together. We learn to celebrate ourselves. And you know what? We can rise through the storm together. You don't have to be alone. Once you're in this space, just know that you're not alone. You have me. You have your beautiful sisters, the brothers on this tribe. We're all behind you, cheering you on, pushing you forward. We're just here with you. And just for a moment, I just want you to close your eyes and just imagine all of us calling your name, cheering you out, and clapping for you. My sister, my brother, you're not alone. You're in this with all of us together, and we're going to ride this out. We're going to be happy through the process. And hey, it's okay to feel low. It's okay to feel sad at times. They are normal human emotions. So don't beat yourself up. In those times when you're walking through the valley, find your sweet spot. Find what makes you happy. Find the person that brings sunlight into your life. Find that place where you can just be you without all the pressures around you. Sometimes you may just need to step back. And like Dr. Sabeeta said, just breathe. Just breathe. I want you to practice it. Just close your eyes for a second and just practice breathing. You may literally have to do this, to close your eyes and just breathe and just take that breath of life. Oh, I love you all so much. And I'm going to hand over to Dr. Sabeeta to give us her wrap up comments. And before I do that again, Dr. Sabeeta, I want to just say I appreciate you. I celebrate you. Dr. Sabeeta supported our Leave No Child Behind Christmas party last year. Please, I want us to appreciate her. It's not easy. All the way from the US of A, she sent in a huge chunk of support that ensured that we were able to feed, clothe, and give joy to over 2,000 children and 65 indigent women. Thank you so much, Dr. Sabeeta. I do not take it for granted. I deeply appreciate that partnership. I also want to mention that Dr. Sabeeta is also a contributor to our Power Woman magazine. So she does this pro bono, bringing in her wealth of experience and knowledge is part of her ways of giving back to the society. Thank you, Dr. Sabeeta, for this. And finally, she's going to be gracing our cover page in the month of March. So I want you to keep tuned in and get ready. It's going to be a power edition. Remember, in the month of March is our Women's Month, and we're going to be talking about women in decision making and leadership in public spaces. And what other person to give us this insight as to how this has been done than Dr. Sabeeta. I'm really looking forward to the exposures that we'll have from reading from you, listening to you. I'm super excited, the connections we have, and it's always a pleasure. I look forward to having you back in this space sometime soon. And I hand over to you to give us your wrap up comments before we wrap up today's episode.
So thank you, Professor Joe. And like I say, I want to commend you and your body, your entire association for all that you all are doing. I'm proud to be associated with you. You have my ongoing commitment, and I have a fellow Nigerian colleague here who has a business, a construction business in Nigeria, and we've been talking about how we can work more with you guys as we move forward. So definitely wanting to give back and help the kids out there. You have our ongoing support and love with that. And thank you for those kind words. Giving back means a lot to me. It's important. I consider myself very privileged in life, and there is no greater joy than sharing some of what I have with others. So I'm thankful when the opportunities arise for me to be able to give back to anyone in any capacity. Um, One of the things, as we wrap up, I want to tell everybody, 2018, 2019 was my toughest year. It tested me in every way. I lost my father very suddenly in May 2019. I was living in Malaysia. My husband was in a different part of the world. I was out in Malaysia with my two kids. My son was on his final day of his year 12 exam of high school when I got the call. I made a decision to not tell him about his grandfather's loss, who he was very close to until he finished his exam. Um, so I lost my father in May 2018. 6 months after, my mother got a massive stroke, lost her entire mobility on her entire left side. And then 2 months after that, I got in a head on car crash and I was down for 3 months. So when things come at you, they come at you, they test you. I've been there. I've been at the lowest point and I've also been at a high. But remember, like Professor Joy said, it is a journey. Nothing is permanent in life. Happiness nor sadness is permanent. Everything has a cycle. It's how you deal with it, how much you let it take away from you. Okay? Remember that. Nothing should steal your joy. It's what you allow in that takes control of your life. You are not alone. Pain is not unique to you. Loss is not unique to you. We have been there. There are others going through it. But one thing I know that joy will come in the morning because this too shall pass. Thank you, Dr. Joy.
Network, network.
Network again, right?
Let's
But
see.
we
I think
say,
it's my network. Is Dr. Sabita still on?
yes, I am.
Mama, is she still on?
Yes.
Okay, I think it's my network. Hmm?
So, Dr. Joy, can you hear me? So, guys, in case we've lost Dr. Joy, I just want to say thank you for your time. And I'll wrap up the show for her. And thank you for all that you do. And we are power women and we can stay strong. And yeah, just keep helping each other as we go along. Oh, she's back. I was trying to, I think we lost you for a second, Dr. Joy.
And
So here's our main
I
takeaway.
went on.
None of us gave up.
No,
Not
we
even the
can't give.
internet, not even the
Yes,
internet connection could have disconnected us. The power
and
of resilience.
that's it. That's it. A
So
very
today's
practical
lesson,
lesson we had.
practical
Mm,
lesson on resilience. We hung in there and
yes,
we saw it through. So for my friends going
yes.
through divorces, for those women struggling with debt and losses, you have resilience within you. You are built with superhero talents that you don't even know. And you will only find them when you go through these moments. Do not give up. Do not,
Mm,
do not, do not self pity. Do not have self pity because you are stronger and you're more powerful than you think. And you
amen.
will overcome this.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Sabita. From all of us on the Friday night hangout, we say thank you. We deeply appreciate your words of wisdom, the way you've poured out into us tonight. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you again on this platform. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to all of you, my amazing, amazing, super engaged tribe. How do I say thank you? I do not take it for granted that you always tune in, you stay through, even through the network disconnections and all of that. We've built the power of resilience on this platform. Let's keep it going in. Sabeeta Jideka says, I love you, Dr. Sabeeta. She loves you so much too. How can they connect with you if they want to connect with you? Where can they reach?
So they can find me on my Instagram. So it's my first name, Sabeeta47. So you can just find me on Instagram and just send me a message. And you can reach out to Dr. Joy and her team, and she has all my contact details, and she can send out. But I'm here to help as many women as possible. Please reach out. We are
All
all here, and it's not
right.
just me. We have a sisterhood of women like me. You know, Dr. Joy, my good friend in Australia, Marie. So many of us are helping. Just reach out. We are a network there to help everyone. We need help at times, so we may even reach out to you and say, "Hey, you know something we don't. How can we get through this? Together we are stronger." Remember that. So I want to say good night. I think we've lost connection. Thank you guys for everything. See you all soon. Dr. Joy, are you back? Dr. Joy?
Okay, so very quickly before I disappear again, I want to say thank you all for staying through. Please join us next week. We have another amazing guest, Dr. Bindu Banda. She's going to be with us next week. And guess what? We're going to be discussing in the month of February. Our theme is business and finances. You want to be here next week. You want to be here next week, Friday. So make it a date with us. And when you're coming next week, I want you to come with someone. Don't come alone next week. I want you to invite someone, a friend, come next week, Friday. And I want you to join and so thank you. Okay. Love you all. Bye. See you next week. Bye. See you next week. See you next week. Love you so much. Love you so much. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. And stay resilient. Stay strong. Stay resilient. Love you so much. And I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday. Bye.